All right, let's move on to some show feedback.
Oh. Am I reading this?
I don't. Sure.
Okay. At Coke Logic has to say, the last CAGcast, I don't even know what I'm doing anymore.
There's a comma in there, so when you see the comma, you take a breath.
Okay. The way you guys framed loot boxes was perfect. I encourage everyone to give a listen. I agree this needs to be addressed. I don't even remember what you said, so I'm sure it was very enlightening.
Yeah, you can look up on YouTube and get just that clip if you type
I'm
in.
good.
Yeah, well, people seem to like it. I got other feedback like that as well. I only included one because that's the kind of guy I am.
Yeah, you don't want to have that big an ego.
Exactly.
I like Popcans has to say, I think it's a huge reach for Cheapy to say the average Apex player has never seen free-to-play besides phone games when the biggest free-to-play game out there is another Battle Royale that is on every platform. And while Fortnite has good microtransactions, Apex has predatory and overpriced microtransactions. Though Cheapy is right that people need to be aware about how microtransactions can be abused by companies.
Whew, you did it. And you breathed at the proper points and everything.
Yeah, I try.
I think I was saying that not so much that people haven't seen loot boxes before, rather free-to-play monetization before, but they haven't seen it done at the scale, like at a mobile scale, where they're just rampantly taking advantage of people, like you would expect in a free-to-play game. And I feel like a game like Apex Legends has just taken that model and maybe even amped it up a little bit because you're playing on a console. I just meant at that level. That's all. There's been more microtransaction news.
Really?
Yeah. Did you watch the trailer for NBA 2K20?
I saw your tweets about it, and I saw the still pictures. Does that count?
Sure.
There's now a slot machine in NBA 2K20.
Did you watch the trailer? The thing, Shipwreck, the trailer?
No, I
okay. It's
have
fine.
not had a chance yet.
That's good.
Yeah, bring me up to speed along with our listeners.
I shall. So this is the My Team trailer. I guess that's the thing that involves cards.
That seems pretty self-explanatory at this point.
Right. There's going to be a lot of microtransactions, probably 2 to 3 levels of virtual currency. Mm-hmm. And yeah. So this is the trailer for that mode. In it, they show a slot machine where the prizes are cards, as you might expect. Tons of loot boxes in the video. They show a pachinko machine, which is something that you would find in a Japanese gambling establishment.
Sure.
And they have the classic money wheel that you would find in pretty much any casino. Except in this case, it's not money that's on the wheel. It's cards and
like a roulette wheel.
No, like a money wheel in a casino. It's like a big wheel and it has like denominations on it.
Are you talking like The Price is Right, the big wheel at the end?
Are you talking like Catholic festival?
Yeah, but they have that in casinos too. Look,
are you talking like the kind I had when I was 5 years old?
Let me see.
I'd never seen that in a casino before.
Yeah, let's see.
I trust like that is an established form of gambling. I've just never seen like somebody spinning the big wheel at a casino before.
There's usually not that many. And I mean, I'm not a big casino guy at all, but I remember definitely seeing them, and they usually just have like one like facing the aisle somewhere. They have like dollar denominations on it and stuff. So it's that. So there's basically 3 literal simulated gambling machines. It's literally simulated gambling. There's no way to look at a computer simulation of gambling machines and say that this is not simulated gambling.
But the game is still rated E for everybody.
Right. It's got to be.
Which, if you look, when you go to the ESRB website and you look up, they have 2 different types of gambling listed in their classifications. One is simulated gambling, which is where you're gambling, but you're not using real money. And real gambling, which is gambling and you are using real money. So clearly, no matter what definition you have of simulated gambling, this has to be it. Because it's gambling. A computer simulation of gambling with the actual machines. Mm-hmm. There's 3 of them that you could see in a casino. I don't know.
It's nice that they're not trying to hide it.
Right. So what's happened? There's something happening here. There's like a few different scenarios. I'm trying to wrap my head around this.
It is ain't exactly clear.
What is?
Nothing. Go ahead.
Oh, what's in my head? Could it be? I mean, somebody had this really good suggestion in my Twitter feed. They thought, is this like the developers just like they were told to put in like gambling mechanics, and they were just like, how can we make this as obvious as possible? Like, shine as much light on this as possible, and just put it out there, and not only put it in the game, but like feature it in the trailer. That's one theory. It seems crazy to me because it's like anti-survival. Like you don't usually fuck with your job in that way and like get a bunch of people together to do it. It doesn't like self-sabotage. Seems weird. So it's probably not it.
But at the same time, they'll probably make a ton of money on it. It's like when pop singers are told that their album has to have a love song and they write a love song about writing a love song to meet that requirement, and that becomes like the biggest hit on the album.
They make it like it's a joke, and
the Sarah Bareilles story.
Yes,
mm-hmm.
that's yes. She's probably the most famous for that, but it's been done a lot.
Yes.
So there's that. That's one scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. It seems. Okay. I don't know. It seems unlikely because you'd think that the company, the publisher, would say, "Hey, we just got pulled in front of Congress like yesterday and had to explain this bullshit about surprise. It's not gambling, it's surprise mechanics. We're trying to distance ourselves from gambling as much as possible, but we've just shown 3 literal gambling machines in the game." And I'm not a basketball guy, Ship. Like I don't watch any NBA. I don't play basketball.
I watch a ton of it.
Is there a lot of slot machines and pachinko machines in basketball?
Yes, that's actually pretty well known.
Oh, yeah. I'm sort of out of it.
They do have the NBA lottery, which is essentially
that's true
gambling for draft
for players, right?
Right.
It's just so,
but it's like a big deal. Like it's a televised event where they have all the like executives for these teams at these tables, and the ping pong balls pop up.
Yep.
Yeah, but they're not paying for that. I mean, they are, but they aren't.
Right.
You
know what I mean,
right?
Yeah. It's not like they're walking in there and they go, "All right, here's my buy-in for the draft."
And they were probably doing that long before they were televising it and making money off it. Right? Don't they do that?
Probably, yeah. Certainly to the extent that it is now.
Yeah.
Like, it's not as big of an event because now I think they've rigged a couple of these because to create the demand, because like you'll have teams that had like the lowest odds are suddenly like getting number 1 or number 2 draft picks. Pretty,
sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe our ping pong balls can be a little heavier than the other guys' ping pong balls or lighter. I don't know what would be better. But
so no, I yes, if any game is going to shed more light on it, it could be this one, right?
Right. You saw my tweet. I forgot what the check boxes it ticked was. Huge game, rated E for everyone. Has nothing to do with gambling whatsoever. Like I didn't put that on the list, but that's another one. Like they've literally shoehorned this in. Like in Grand Theft Auto, it makes sense. It's a mature game. You'd expect like crime, casinos, like it all sort of fits together.
They built a casino in their city. It makes it. There's context.
There's context. There's no context for this except for people in their brains get addicted to random stuff, and some people have such an addiction to it that they can't help themselves, and they'll just give you their money because that's how they're wired. And
I think this would be a great time for us to get the This Is Vegas IP.
And just turn it into a casino that you play with.
With real money.
With real money.
For loot box payouts though.
I'm still trying to figure out how they made the trailer that way. Like, is it just like fuck you everybody? Like
people like it.
What's the reaction been?
Right. Like I'm sure people who aren't playing it and aren't going to get into that mode are like, this is terrible. But I'm sure the people that are really into that, they're like, ooh, that looks like a lot. I can get a lot of stuff popping out of packs.
So what's happening is they're basically, I mean, what percent of the people
I
who
haven't
buy
seen
this?
anyone writing about it yet. It doesn't seem to be a controversy.
No, they have. There's definitely been articles about it, and Jim Sterling has the video up about it already, and it's good. You should watch it. But it's just like they're not hiding it anymore. They're just throwing it in their face. Is it? I think that the industry knows there's a ticking clock on this. Before it gets out there that there's this internet gaming disorder, and that basically people cannot help themselves, and it's a very small percentage of people, but there are enough people that can't help themselves that these companies are making a lot of money off of them, and it's worth it to structure their stores in this way, such that like 90% of their player base is just uninterested in the store because it's monetized in such a predatory way. Anyway, whew. It's emotional. I think about it all the time. We're going to start a coalition and fight this.
Okay.
Don't you think there should be some like basic rights that gamers have when it comes to these types of predatory microtransactions? Like, you're not going to take advantage of our psychological weaknesses when we're buying games or even on free games. Like, there's a lot of children playing. Maybe, I don't know, maybe just some morals somewhere. I feel like we have to do something, but I don't know.